Hey guys, it's been a long time since we've done a video like this. 6 months out with knee surgery has really slowed me down quite a bit video blogging wise, but Reddit BJJ is giving me a chance to kind of get back into it. We're doing technique of the month. This month is Mad Flow month, and this week is sweeps and submissions. So we're going to hit the sit-up sweep and kind of look at the chain of submissions you can get into when your sit-up sweep fails. That's kind of the way I like to think about my full guard is anytime I tackle with a sweep, I'm just kind of get my opponent to react so I can get him to make a mistake instead of a submission. It's a pretty basic concept, but it's worth going back over again. And then we're going to hit some stuff that Matt Kirtley over at asopia.com has really got me thinking about, kind of ways of thinking about the way we chain our submissions together with our sweeps. So let's look at the sit-up sweep first. Grab Paul here. So your basic sit-up sweep, you're just chilling it, your opponent's kind of just hanging out, you go up into your sit-up sweep motion. But the way I normally like to set my sit-up sweep up is when my opponent's on top of me, and I'm holding him down here, and then kind of grip my one. I was kind of trying to keep him tight and keep his posture broken. And as he's sitting up, is when I like to explode up into my sit-up sweep here. So that's kind of my initial bait. Most of you guys know the sit-up sweeps. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time going back over those details. But what I do want to cover is a couple little tricks that I've kind of picked up from a few places that's going to help you out. So the first thing is whenever you're sitting up into your sit-up sweep, instead of trying to just jam your elbow up underneath of you, rotate your elbow out and bring it behind you. It's going to be a lot easier to get up on your elbow. And this is useful for a lot of techniques, especially if your opponent has any kind of weight on you here. If you try to get your elbow up underneath, you're blocking yourself, he's blocking you. If you rotate it out and around behind you, it's a lot easier to get up. And that's one of the black belts in my school, Steel City, kind of showed that to me, and it's kind of changed my world. It's so stupid, it makes your technique a lot easier. And the other thing with the sit-up sweep here is a lot of people will jump right to here, trying to get the sit-up sweep motion going. And I don't like to do that, mostly because if I'm rolling with a strong guy or a really slick guy, I'm giving him the arm triangle right away. He can dive right forward, wrap this up, smash me down, and use this to start passing my guard. So when I hit the sit-up sweep, it's actually something I picked up out in Las Vegas. When I'm starting to come up, I stiff arm the shoulder right here. Okay? Kind of keeps him from coming back into me, and it also protects me from the arm triangle. And when I come up on this hand, I'm connecting my forearm to his chest here. So got a nice lot of contact here, a lot of backwards pressure on him. It keeps him from flattening back out and shutting the sit-up sweep down, because I want him all the way postured up, maybe even leaning back a little bit farther for the sit-up sweep to work. So I like to use a stiff arm as I come up to keep that space. And you also can't arm triangle me here, so if I need to bail, I'm in a pretty safe position. So now when I go in my sit-up sweep, and like I said, for the sake of this video, I'm not going to rehash any detail here. When I go in my sit-up sweep and start to bump Paul over, and there's a couple different reactions he's going to get. Ideally, I hit this, and he goes right over. But Paul's a pretty smart guy, that's probably not going to happen. There's a couple reactions that are most common. The lower levels, you get them posted on the mat a lot. So when I come up, I start going to bump, maybe I'll grab this arm, you post on the mat right away. You can jump into a triangle from here, but I prefer just to catch it, wrap this up, and start looking for my Kimura here. The other reaction you're going to get is they'll just kind of shut you down as you're coming up. So I'll be coming up here, and he starts driving his head into me. So at this point, his hand's safe, I can't really get the Kimura, I have to really dig that out. I'm just not strong enough to do that. And it's hard to get the sit-ups because he's got his shoulder in my chest here. I'm not going to be able to bump him over. But I can go for this guillotine. Lock my hands together, start leaning into it, start finishing this here. So those are the two submissions I look for most often. And the last thing I look for, it's kind of deviating from that 12-month theory just a little bit because it's not a submission, is when I come up into the sit-up sweep, Paul starts driving back into me. Sometimes I'll loop my arm back underneath his forearm here, and I'll rotate you guys here in a second. Lock my hands together, kind of use this to sweep him over here. Let's rotate you over this way, Paul. So we're going to skip right to our sit-up position here. So instead of hitting this guillotine, I go underneath this arm. So I still keep my bicep and my tricep on the back of his head, but I lock my hands together and start leaning this way. I try to keep my legs closed, so both my legs up, he can just kind of hop around me here, and he's passed. So I want to make sure I keep contact on that outside leg. It's kind of like, as Eddie Bravo calls it, the 100%. I don't really have a good name for it. But it's a nice submission to get a nice little sweep to hit. It kind of leads into a submission if you're in the neck cranks here. So, as far as flowing in between submissions, what's cool about that guillotine, about the Kimura and that sweep, is that the hip sweep's always right there if one of those techniques fails. So if I'm here, when I come up, I go boom, hit this, he posts his hand for the Kimura, if I come back into this, and he starts posturing back up to get out of it, I can go right back into my sit-up sweep here and take him over. Same thing with the guillotine. If I'm going back, he starts pulling his head back out, I can hop right back up in the sit-up sweep, take him back over. And that's what's nice about this position. As long as I'm kind of staged with my armpit on Paul's shoulder here, my head, my arm behind his head, at least in some way, here, I still get right back to my bicep and tricep, go back to Paul's neck here. I'm still in the sit-up sweep position. It's always right there for me. So I'm kind of working in a cluster where I can bounce out and go right back to sit-up sweep. Bounce out to Kimura, sit-up sweep. Bounce out to that crank sweep, right back into sit-up sweep. It's always right there. Now, if I would go do something where Paul posts his hand, puts your hand kind of behind you, and I jump up into this triangle, this could be a nice move for me. This could be a nice submission. But if this fails, I'm kind of back to square one. I don't have the sit-up sweep to go right back into. Same with this guillotine. If Paul starts grabbing my hand here, he starts pulling his head out, and I hop up into this guillotine. This can be a nice little triangle. I really like it, but it doesn't let me keep flowing between those attacks very much. Because I've left the cluster at that point, and I've kind of gone into a one-way street. When you're in that cluster, you can always go two ways. In and out, in and out, in and out. That kind of keeps you really aggressive. It keeps your game very active. It keeps your opponent guessing. Because he doesn't really know what the right answer is at that point. So just to review here, 3 most common techniques that I'm looking for. Come up into my sit-up sweep. Boom, he posts his hand. Grab that core, just loop around behind. Hit this out a little bit. Crank the shoulder. Or I can come up. Paul drives into me. I start looking for this guillotine here. And remember, I try to stay crunched up. I like to keep my chin on top of Paul's shoulder here. I don't want to start laying back. He says it's definitely going to pop out. But as soon as any one of those techniques fails, boom, right back into my sit-up sweep. And I keep attacking, keep flowing like that. So that's my contribution to Mad Flow Month. If you stumbled on this on my YouTube channel, I recommend checking out reddit.com/r/BJJ. It's probably hanging up in the corner here. Check that out. Thanks for stopping by the vlog. I appreciate it. See you guys next time.